and girls, and welcome to the first day of Vlogmas. Yes, the tinsel is out, we are ready to go, and I've actually already filmed the entirety of this first vlog. However, I've just started editing it and I just felt the intro was really waffly, really long. I was losing myself in the editing, so you guys just would not have got it. And I think you probably all have fallen asleep before we got to the fun bit, so I thought I would quickly come out here a couple of days before this vlog goes out and just refilm the intro. There's a lot to get through. It's an exciting vlog. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. Basically, day one, I'm starting off with probably my most requested video of the year. I've been getting comments on every single video about doing this vlog, so I'm doing it. I'm doing a video in which I leave you guys some of my top tips and bits of advice for eventing, whether you're starting out. There's lots of tips aimed towards people who've done a bit but are thinking about affiliating, and even a few little hacks for people who do event loads and regularly, but just some of my tips and tricks that I have found work. I'm going to take something very itchy, this tinsel. So that is today's video, but before we dive straight into that, I thought I'd give you a little rundown of Vlogmas because it's here. It's finally here. I've spoken about it. I have talked about it. I insisted I wasn't going to do it, and then I decided I was going to do it, so we're here. But what exactly does Vlogmas look like on this channel? Because, as you guys have probably guessed, it's not going to be 24 videos. I would not put you through this. This is meant to be a Christmas gift, not a Christmas torture. So it's actually only going to be 6 videos, one every 4 days. And in between, so on the days in between the vlogs go live, there's going to be giveaways over on my Instagram page. So you will need to follow my Instagram if you want to get involved with them. It's Flowcast Eventing. I shall pop it on the screen now. So definitely go and get ahead and follow my Instagram ahead of the first giveaway, which will be going live on the 3rd of December. So if you're watching this as it comes out, you have 2 days. So there's going to be giveaways on the 3rd, the 7th, the 11th, you get the picture. 6 of them, some really great prizes up for grabs. So yeah, follow my Instagram. I'm going to stop plugging that one now. And basically, if you watch my vlogs, which will go out on the 2 days before the giveaway, so the 1st, the 5th, the 9th, you'll get a 48-hour sneak peek as to what is going to be up for grabs as the giveaway prizes. And there are some really, really good ones. I could talk about them for ages. In each vlog, I will somewhere tell you about what's up for grabs. So today, spoiler alert, the information about which prize is going to be up for grabs on the 3rd is quite near the end of this vlog. So yeah, you're gonna have to watch the whole thing to get there. And I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. Without further ado, I shall take it back to past Flo, who's looking a little bit more festive, a little bit more awake than me, and we'll get straight into it. Hello everyone, and welcome to day one of Vlogmas. The idea was that I was gonna wear the antlers and Lulu was gonna wear the turkey hat, but she didn't want that, so we've compromised. Today I'm going to be talking more about things that perhaps people don't tell you about eventing, some top tips about how to stay super organised and have a great day, because they can be a little bit stressful if you're not careful and you don't plan ahead. Okay, so I've wrestled the Christmas hat back onto Lulu. At this point, don't call it RSPCA, I promise she loves it. Let's just dive straight in. So I'm going to break up this vlog into 5 sections of eventing tips and tricks. One is before the event, one is the morning of the event, and then there's one for each discipline. So dressage, show jumping and cross country. And if you don't know, those are 3 disciplines of eventing. God help us, there's a long way to go. So first of all, my first little section is before the day of the event. Let me tell you guys, eventing does not just start on the day. You don't wake up and go eventing. There is a whole lot of planning involved. Yes. Perhaps the most important first step is deciding where you're going to do your first event. So there's a couple of options. You've got affiliated or unaffiliated. Again, not really for this video, there's a lot of differences, but the main one is that affiliated, you pay a membership for, you're with British Eventing, or if you're in a different country, it's different. But today we're going to be using the UK as an example because it's a system I'm familiar with. So if you're affiliated with British Eventing, you're paying a membership, but that membership helps you to ensure you know that the standard of these competitions is going to be good, everything's going to be up to scratch, all the fences are going to be dressed nicely, it's going to be a nice experience. Or unaffiliated, which are also usually really, really nice, really super good standard, but they aren't sort of monitored in the same way. Affiliated only starts at 80 centimetres, so if you're wanting to event at maybe 50 or 60 or 70, you can only go unaffiliated. If you want to event at 80 or above, you've got a bit of a choice. Now, entries for eventing aren't really like entries for show jumping or dressage. You certainly can't turn up on the day, there's a lot of pre-planning involved. Oh, that hat is about to go. I'm going to take it off you now. So you've got to decide, I would say, a good couple of months in advance where you want to go, and that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, you need to be fit. Those cross-country courses, even at 70, 80 centimetres, are often 4.5, 5 minutes long each, and horses can't just canter for that amount of time naturally. So you need 2 months to sort a fitness regime, and you need time to enter. So entries open quite a long time in advance. If you're with BE, if you're getting affiliated, there's a system called balloting. So again, this video could get very long, very boring very quickly, but a system in which you all enter, and then if it's oversubscribed, they pick names out of a hat, people that don't get to go. So that whole thing takes a little bit of time. But my top tip for entering an event, if you want to enter a BE event, so this is for someone who perhaps wants to step up a level or want to start affiliated, so you've done a few events before, there is a really good way of trying to get your eye in for which BE event you want to do, and that is if you head onto the BE website, and I'm going to try and insert like a little screen grab here. Head onto the BE website, head on to the list of fixtures, so the list of fixtures, everything that's running this year, and perhaps you're stepping up a level, perhaps it's your first event and you want a nice gentle one. If you click the event that you want to go to and scroll down to the information section, it will tell you, usually the course designer will have written what they're aiming to achieve on this course. So for example, if you click on Dauncey's Park, which is known for being quite a up to height, big, bold, long track, so if you click on there, that is exactly what it will say. It will say that they are planning to build a course that is max height, max dimensions, testing, and good if you want to step up a level, you know, as a final sort of test. Whereas if you scroll down and click on Munstead, Munstead will tell you that they are a nice gentle track. They're a great first run if you're just moving up a level. They're not going to be full length, and that is a great way to get your eye in. Another top tip I like is 2 websites, or an app and a website that are gospel to me. Shoestring Eventing, number 1, I'll put it on the screen now, where people, you or I, can submit course photos from any BE events that can be put on there, so you can actually have a look at the cross country course, see what it was like last year. Doesn't mean it'll be the same this year, that's my disclaimer. You can see what it was like last year and get an idea of whether that's the course for you. So if your horse is on like ditches, you can see if last year had a ditch. Again, doesn't mean they haven't built one, but it's great. It's a great little sort of precursor to get an idea of what the course is going to look like. And the same with the cross country app, which there's a free version or a paid version, and I'll probably be talking a bit more about that later. Well, the next thing that's worth noting is clear the whole weekend. If you're eventing, clear the whole weekend. Don't make plans to go out for dinner that night. Don't make plans to get up early the next morning, because eventing can be very long days, very early starts, very late finishes, and the weird thing about eventing is you don't tend to have any idea what your time's going to be until about 4 days before competition. Times usually come out on the Thursday if you're competing on the Saturday or the Sunday, so you just don't know what your day's going to look like. You can put in a request and ask for early times or late times, but obviously great, obviously they can't always give you that. So clear your schedule, leave that whole weekend free, and if you have any spare time, great. But I am usually up at the yard at about 9 PM, 10 PM the day before an event, often with about a 4 AM start. So get stuff done the night before if you can, plaiting, tack cleaning. And here's one of my tack cleaning top tips. Get a toothbrush, an old toothbrush or a new toothbrush that you're not going to use, and that is a great way to get the grit out of the saddle. So there's a little bit of a hack. You know, you've got those like curves of the saddle where it's not always easy to get all the stuff out of. Toothbrush. Sorted. So you followed my advice. You are up on your game. Your horse is plaited. Your stud holes are cleaned out. It's the event morning and you are raring to go. What now? What happens now? Well, here are my top tips for the event morning. First of all, there's some essentials that you've got to make sure you've got packed. Obviously, all the stuff you absolutely need, your saddles and your riding kit, but also fly spray. Some venues are notoriously bad for having really horrible flies in the summer. Don't let your horse be upset by flies. Don't let that be an annoying way to ruin the day. Loads of fly spray. Plenty of hoof oil. Here's one of my favourite things to throw in last minute. This is a bit of a boot shiner, so basically just between phases if you're sort of rushing, it's a really great way to just give your boots a little scrub. They get a little bit of a shine to it without having to completely sort of clean them all up again, because you'll be surprised, even if you literally put on your sort of nice long boots last minute, you'll be surprised how quickly they get muddy, especially if you're eventing in the spring or autumn. My next step is to ensure you have the day planned out to the second, and if you think you need 1 hour to do something, allow an hour and 10 minutes, because nothing is ever quick when you're eventing, and event mornings usually are spent with not much time, and I can tell you my best days out eventing are when you have more time. So I'm going to insert a little bit of a clip in a second of our whiteboard in the lorry, which I get a lot of questions about when I go out eventing and feature it in my eventing vlogs. This is gospel. This whiteboard is what helps us run to time. It's very simple. All we write on it is the times of each phase, but that way, particularly if you're a multiple rider, you know exactly when you need to be where. And like I said, it's about allowing more time. So in normal times, not COVID times, you've got a trip to the secretary's tent to go and get your number and pay your start fee. That can take an extra 10 minutes, which if you haven't allowed, can be a nightmare. And also, a lot of these events have really nice big hills, which they like to utilise in their cross country because it makes for a more exciting course than just going around the outside of a field. However, you can't do dressage on a hill, and usually a hill is not next to a very nice bit of flat land. So you kind of have to walk a fair way to a lot of these places to get to the dressage arenas to find some flat ground. So definitely make sure you allow time to find the dressage arena. If you can get up the day before and walk across country, make sure that you're scoping out all of the grounds. As you can see, here's one I prepared earlier. We still have all of the times up from my final event of the season at Broadway. So you can see here, there's no disputing what's going on. It's very clear, all of the times right there in front of you. And my other pro tip, particularly for multiple riders, is popping up the number that you have to wear on your bib as well, because if you're changing from horse to horse, remembering which horse is which number can get really confusing, and the last thing you want is to walk 10 minutes down to the dressage and realise that you're wearing the wrong number. Have learned that from experience. It's not great fun. So yeah, this is our go-to whiteboard, but like I said, you don't need a whiteboard. Notes on your phone will do, notes on a piece of paper. I even know some people who claim their lorries like a whiteboard proof, so you can like write on the wall and rub it off, but I'm absolutely not recommending that. If you get stained lorries, it's not my fault. One of my favourite hacks, even for some of you seasoned eventers, shows up how unorganised I have been in this video because I cannot find my prop, but I can explain it to you and I will insert a picture somewhere if I can find one of what I mean. Life-saving item right here for studs. So obviously you're putting in studs and when you're taking them out as well, you've got to try and hold studs, hold cotton wool, hold the tap, hold the span. There's a lot of things to hold is what I'm trying to say. And the first thing that tends to fall out of your hands is studs, because studs are often slippery and muddy and small, and I cannot tell you how frustrating it is to lose studs before you've even put them in because you've dropped them in long grass. So I have this really cool little magnetic wristband I can simply pop on my wrist, attach the studs to, so then while I'm taking out the while I'm tapping out the studs, taking out the cotton wool, it's just sitting right there. I'm not going to drop it, and then I can just pop, and in away we go. I think I said earlier, but it makes a huge difference if you've cleaned out your stud holes the night before. A lot of people live by sort of road studs that you can put in overnight and then just untap them in the morning. I personally find that leaving cotton wool in and maybe some people say WD-40 the night before does the job perfectly. Means that nothing's going to get in there. Also, one of my pro tips is always have some spare plastic bands, drop them all there, in your pocket, because you know that at some point throughout the course of the day someone's going to pull a plat out and it's going to feel like the worst thing ever if it's before dressage, because you want to look super smart and you've put so much time into these plats. So if you or your parent or whoever's coming with you to help you eventing has a few spare plaiting bands in their pocket, this will be a lifesaver. Yeah, it's not food, Lulu, it's plaiting bands. It is plaiting bands. Right, so I think that is most of my sort of pre-event and event morning prep. Let's crack down onto the real disciplines. I would say I've already touched on my biggest tip for dressage, which is just allow time to find the arenas. They are often hidden out in the back of beyond, especially if you've got an early start. You may not see other people walking over there, so yeah, time, because if you end up in a dressage warm-up feeling rushed, that can be the worst thing, because horses are very sensitive and dressage is the one phase where you don't want them to be pumped up and excited. And let's just say I've done that a few times this season. So I got under 5 minutes to warm up. I think we were just running a bit late, got really stressed. Yeah, not my finest moment. So allow time. Also, you'd be surprised when you're trying to remember a cross-country course, a show jumping course, a dressage test, how easy it is to remember the smallest parts of a dressage test, but judges can be quite ferocious about you getting everything just right. You know, you need to do your transitions in the right places, you need to do everything at the right time. So my biggest top tip would be print out, at the same time that you print out your numbers, if you're still in COVID era eventing, print out a copy of your dressage test. Give it to whoever's like accompanying you on foot up to dressage if you're lucky enough to have someone, because it happens the first time you do these tests. It's so easy to just completely forget what's happening when, and I cannot tell you how many times I have forgotten something about half an hour before my dressage test. There's not really enough time to run back over to the lorry to, you know, get the test if I have it printed out, but internet fails me. Internet can fail you at these places. They're often in the middle of the beautiful countryside, which often means very bad telephone reception. So definitely print out these dressage tests as opposed to just taking, you know, as opposed to just being able to look them up online, because, you know, the internet's not often on your side at these places. Print out, then you know there's absolutely going to be no debate. Actually, for each level, I would say there's probably only about 5 or 6 tests, so you can reuse this bit of paper, you can put it away in a folder, and next time you do that test, you can pop it out again, which is brilliant. Once you've finished your dressage and you've had a little bit of a cuddle with your pony, you're probably realising you may be a little bit of a hairy state because you want to keep your show jacket looking super nice and pristine, obviously, because you've still got 2 phases left. So this is where this little bad boy comes into plan. This is my Amaze brush. He is actually designed for, and this is not spun, there's only one product in this whole video that I have any association with, and that's the giveaway prize, which is coming very soon, guys. This is the Amaze brush. Now this is designed for getting hair off of numbness, and it's great and it does the job perfectly. But I also like to keep one of these in the lorry so that when I come back from my dressage and, you know, I've taken off the tack, I'm changing into the jump saddle and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in my nice show jacket and I'm covered in hair, you can just take the Amaze brush and just rub it on your show jacket and all of these hairs come off, and it's great, and you don't have to spend hours like flopping around and shaking trying to get the hairs to come off. They're great, absolutely recommend them. You're ready to go, you're all set for show jumping, which is our next discipline. Now show jumping is a discipline that I would say it is the most important that you have time to go and watch some. And that's because often when you're out eventing, you won't get to walk the show jumping course because it's in play, it's live all day, and unlike cross country, you can't walk around it when people are competing. That goes without saying. But even if you can walk it, show jumping is probably the phase in which is most interesting. If you go show jumping, pure show jumping, you're probably going to be in an arena, completely flat surface, very even. If you go show jumping out eventing, you might, well, you'll probably be on grass. And some of these arenas aren't perfectly flat, they might be a bit hilly, they might be a bit undulating, just because of the nature of the flattest ground is always prioritised for dressage arenas. So it often means you may walk a line and actually it may ride very, very differently. I cannot tell you how many times I have walked a line out show jumping and I've been confident it's going to be 7 strides and then everything goes down it in 6, or everything goes down it in 8, because the ground plays a role in show jumping that it doesn't usually play in pure show jumping. But obviously you don't want to have a pesky 4 faults because things are differently. So I always try to allow time to watch 3 people show jump, at least 3 people, because one may have a disaster, one may be nothing like your horse. That's the other thing. If you're on a big 16-2, there's not really much use in watching a 14-2 show jump. Of course it's going to put in some extra strides. Just allowing time to watch a couple get a feel for how the course is riding, it's really, really useful. I'm not so fast at watching people do dressage tests or go cross country, but show jumping, just because of the nature of eventing show jumping, is just a great thing to watch. Eventing show jumping courses, here are some like little advice if you're nervous about show jumping, because I think show jumping is probably the phase I get most nervous about. They're usually very simple. 10 fences. You're not allowed a triple until you get to B novice. At B90 and B80 you're allowed 1 double, B100 I think you have 2. Obviously unaffiliated stuff varies, but it's usually no more than 10 fences. You can do it. 10 fences, nice and easy peasy. If you're eventing at 90 and you're scared because the show jumping's allowed to be 95, don't worry. The whole course is not going to be 95. I believe you're usually allowed 2 fences at 95, 1 upright and 1 spread. Another really big bit of advice, have your rule book with you throughout the day, bring one with you. You may look like a bit of an idiot, but you've got it there. If anyone wants to dispute anything, tell you that the tack you're wearing isn't allowed, tell you that something's wrong, you can just whip out the rule book. Here it says, and they can't argue with that. They cannot argue if it's written there in stone. You know, there's so many little rules that you may not know about, so it's just so useful to have the rule book with you. Now, if you're like me, you may really, really struggle to eat anything on event days. Event days are long, but as soon as the jumps get above about 105, 110 for me, that's it. Tapping out, not eating, just cannot get anything down me because of the nerves and the adrenaline. that's kind of, I mean, it's not ideal. And I know I'm not the only one that suffers from this, and I'm someone that usually loves food. And as soon as I've got over that cross-country line, I am straight in line for the burger stand, ready to eat my weight's worth in food. However, before cross-country, you really need to get some calories in you. It's super duper important because cross-country can be pretty full on. It really tests your adrenaline, it tries to test your stamina. You're getting out of the saddle for often 4, 5, 6 minutes at a time. And your strength, especially if you're on a horse that's nice and strong and gives you a run for your money. So get those calories in you somehow, find out what works for you. For me personally, again, not spawn, I wish, Lucozade Sport. Love Lucozade Sport. They're not fizzy, so I don't feel like if I'm going cross country at 10 o'clock I have to chug a fizzy drink before I go. But they are super duper fruity and pretty high in sugar and probably not super duper healthy for you, to be honest, but they give me that pre-cross country sort of like buzz, like getting the calories back in me without having to eat any solid food because I just can't do it. If anyone has any better suggestions, you're welcome to leave with me, but definitely find what like works for you. If you think there's any chance you are not going to be able to eat on the event day, make sure you've got a high calorie drink there. I'm not a big fan of like milk or milkshakes, but I know a lot of people use like milkshakes or like more sort of protein drinks. Not for me personally, but gotta just get something in you before you go cross country. Now, you've got to walk cross country before you go. I often walk it the night before. Some people get up really early and walk it the day of. It really kind of depends on what your times are. If you're walking the cross country course, or when you're walking the cross country course, a lot of people worry about sort of minute markers. I won't go into too much detail about those. If you're just starting out eventing, do not worry too much about the time. But what I would recommend is taking photos, especially if you're walking the course the night before. Take photos of every single fence on the cross country course so that if you're having a bit of a mind blank before you go, you can check, you know exactly where everything is. There is no worse feeling than going out on a cross country course and going, oh, but I don't know what 6 is, or is the combination at 8, or is that at 10? Because it messes with you. You need to have your like mind focus, needs to be on the game. So photos of cross country course. If you are someone that is wanting to really nail the time, perhaps you've done a season of eventing and you're ready to start thinking about the time, because it is super duper annoying to lose a placing for time faults. Been there, done that. My 11th itis that we always talk about on this channel is usually because of time faults, like a pesky 1 or something. So if you are thinking about minute markers, I personally don't use them that much. It's something that I may get into more next season, but I find that they kind of mess with your head a little bit, trying to remember all these numbers whilst trying to remember the whole course. If you are, I definitely recommend the cross country app. It's the same place you can go to download courses to look at before you go, or you can actually store your pictures on there. And if you go and walk the cross country course, they actually work all the minute markers out for you. I think it's about $12.99 on the App Store. So if you're someone that thinks minute markers is gonna make that huge difference for you, that app is the way to go. And now for actual cross country itself, we've got this bad boy. I'm sure if you've evented before, if you've ever done BE, you are familiar with this bad boy. But this is the Optimum time watch. I'm sure there are other brands available, but this seems to be a firm favourite among eventing folk. And I love this because regardless of how you set your watch, whether you have it counting up, counting down, because different people do different things, this can adapt. There's a little mode button here. It changes to do every single thing that you want it to do. So it's brilliant. And what I love about it is when you're out on course, you don't really have time to keep looking down at your watch and trying to work out exactly what the watch says, particularly if you're going pretty fast, maybe at novice speed. And I love about this particular watch versus like your average stopwatch is it beeps every minute. So let me just play that for you. So that means that it's been a minute. You're down another minute marker, so you can count how many times that's happened in your head and you can think. I just think that's great because you have a rough idea of where you need to be on track. And then again, if I press this button quite a few times, it's really good at helping you know when you're in the last few seconds. When it hits 15, you want to know whether you can cross the finish line or not without getting penalties because you have 15-second leeway. Perhaps you are going quite fast, you really want to try and get for the finish line, you don't have time to look down. As soon as it starts doing this, you know that you're in your safe zone to get in. Right, so you've followed my advice. You've got that sub 30 double clearance at the time, and you just think I've done amazingly. No, it's come from you guys. It's come from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are my final 3 tips for after eventing. The first one is if I can recommend one product for horse care after eventing, it would obviously be this bad boy here. These are my NAF electrolytes, and it is so important for getting salt back in the water system. You or I would not go for a run and then not have a drink. We just wouldn't do it. But horses aren't always that smart. You can bring buckets full of water and they may not drink anything all day. And you want to know they've got those like vital minerals back into their system. Just pop a spoonful of this in their feed. They're getting all those minerals that they just sweated out of them back into their system. It's great. Electrolytes, most eventers will know about this, but it's definitely recommend. Doesn't even have to be for eventing. If you go on a particularly long or strenuous hack and your horse gets super duper sweaty, electrolytes are the way to go. There's loads of different brands. I really quite like the NAF electro salts just because a lot of professionals swear by them, swear they have really good results. So personal favourite of mine. Another one is giving horses days off. Definitely after in the wake of an event, your horse deserves some time off. Usually, not time off necessarily, but a day. Especially if you've got another one planned, you can't give them like a week off. But it seems to more and more be coming to sort of like the knowledge from experts, that like the sort of opinions seem to be forming that you should actually lightly hack them out the next day, because they've evented, they've gone for a run, then they've stood in a lorry often for a long time completely still, and taking them for a nice gentle hack the next day is just a way to stretch out those muscles before giving them a day off. Now, sometimes we follow that, sometimes it doesn't work and we give them a day off and then a gentle hack, but definitely for me, always in my sort of like eventing plan is one day off and one light hack in the first 2 days after a competition. But let's get back to the event. You've just found out you've won. You're celebrating. What a great result you've had. And you really want to party in the way back in the lorry. Now, our lorry is stuck on Radio 2. It doesn't matter which radio you try and program it onto, it always reverts back to playing Radio 2, which isn't really a bop. So when I came back from Oxtals with my third place on Atty, I couldn't pop on those tunes. I couldn't just plug in my aux, and I like to have a good old party. So that is where today's giveaway comes in handy. It's actually not just a random speaker that I'm about to promote. It's actually not meant for putting in your lorry. It's meant for wearing when you ride. So this is the first item we have up for grabs in giveaway number 1, Lulu approves. So this is coming on the 3rd of December, guys. So get a move on. You don't have long before this giveaway goes live, and it's only going to be live for 48 hours. So get over to my Instagram and get prepared. I warned you that the link between my giveaways and the video would be tenuous, and this is a tenuous one because I will be using my Stride Audio rhythm speaker to play all the tunes next season when I'm out eventing instead of listening to Radio 2. But what this speaker is actually designed for is riding with, like when you're riding, you can pop it on your hand like I have demonstrated here, and ride out with it, listen to those tunes, whether you are going on a hack, whether you're dressage schooling. It's such a cool way to do it. You just connect it to your phone via Bluetooth, and it stays connected as long as you're within 30 feet, which is obviously great. And this saves the fact that often I'm trying to balance my phone on a fence post or in my pocket and I just cannot hear it, because the sound quality is amazing. And I just wanted to show you guys, because obviously you have a chance of winning one of these. Couldn't play any copyrighted music, so we're going to go for my YouTube intro. So let's take it away. But honestly, oh god, my vlog is playing. But honestly, how great is the sound quality on that one? It is so good. It's probably one of my favourite prizes up for grabs over this whole Vlogmas series, although there are some really great ones. But it's because it's such an original and cool idea. You just pop this on your hand, you go for a ride, you connect it up via Bluetooth, powers of technology, and you listen. And they really thought of everything. When I got in touch and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't film this vlog if it's raining, they're like, yes you can. This is sort of resistant to water. I mean, obviously don't take it swimming with you guys, but it's great if it starts to rain, if it gets a little bit damp when you're out filming. This adapts. This still works. It's great. You can turn the volume up, you can turn the volume down. You can even receive phone calls through this. So if you're out riding and you get a phone call, instead of having to try and hold your phone up to your ear and talk to someone whilst on a horse, it's going to play with full volume out of here. So this is just great. I have been loving using it ever since. Lulu just really doesn't want me to share the exciting news of Stride with you guys. She wants it to be a secret. I have been loving using my Stride audio rhythm speaker ever since I received it. It's just made hacking and schooling so much more fun. Doesn't mean I have to put in like little headphones that are gonna fall out, and the sound quality, like I said, is so good that I'm genuinely gonna take it in the lorry with me next year instead of having to listen to radio too. Sorry mum, I know that's your favourite thing to do. So you can win one of these bad boys if you head over to my Instagram page before the 5th of December at 6 p.m. That's how long you've got, so not very long at all. Try and get your hands on one of these, and if not, if you didn't manage to get your hands on it, if you didn't manage to win, or if you're watching this after the giveaway has ended, fear not, because there is still time to get your hands on one of these for Christmas. What a great stocking filler one of these would be. It retails at under £50. That is insane value. Often speakers with this good quality would be far more expensive than that without the added on feature that they are just perfect for riding. So yeah, it's a Bluetooth speaker for riders. It's a pretty great first giveaway prize. It's got this Vlogmas off to a really good start, unlike this video which has just been probably half an hour of Lulu pushing me around. But if you did like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and leave a comment below what was the most helpful tip that you found, or if you're someone that already knew all of these tips, perhaps leave like a tip below for all of the fellow adventurers. We can really help ourselves out. You can really help each other out. And obviously turn on that notification bell. I will be back on the 5th of December with another vlog and another giveaway, so don't miss out on that one. And obviously, for now, get yourself over to my Instagram, go and enter this giveaway. All you've got to do is follow me, follow Stride Audio, comment, tag a friend below on Instagram, and you can win one of these bad boys, and that would be a very, very good start to the Christmas season, would it not? Ping! Got an email. So on that note, I am going to love you and leave you because I already have a lot of editing to do, and it's day one. It's day one, guys. So I will see you very, very soon. Happy Christmas, happy Vlogmas. One day down, 5 months to go.